Hey, this is a Picker card message about what to do regarding your toxic work situation. We have three piles. If you choose pile one, it's the magician. Pile two is the page of wands. Pile three is temperance reversed. I'll show you the upright image real quick in case that helps. Okay, timestamps are down below. You know what to do. I'll see you in your reading. Hi, so if you chose this card, the Magician, this is your pile one. I pre-shuffled some cards for you, including, we'll look at these at the end. We have some oracle cards, some astrological herbal oracles, and I'll read from the book for you. You're the only pile that got two of these, so I'm excited to see what they are. I haven't looked at any of the cards, which I don't usually do when I read for myself, so it's a little weird, but as soon as I see the cards, I want to start talking. So I wanted to pre-shuffle them because it's loud. If we need more cards, we'll shuffle on screen and get more details for you. So let's see. Again, this is about a toxic work situation that you're in, particularly toxic leadership, a boss, a person in charge or management that is just not doing things the correct and just way. So for pile one, we have, okay, interesting, these are reversed. We'll see if we're going to take all reverses, if they end up all reverse, or if we'll just turn the cards around. But we have two of swords reversed and page of cups. Okay, the page of these cards are clarifying the upper cards. So you have the Empress. Oh, this is so interesting. Before I go any further, right before I started recording, I started tapping my fingers in a drum pattern, and it was really random. I don't do that. And when I did that for about, I don't know, 8-10 seconds, I suddenly had the really strong smell of baby formula. So I don't know if some of you are moms, or maybe you're expecting, maybe you are currently pregnant, or you just, are being represented here as the Empress, but that felt really poignant because the Empress is the mother. She is the fertile one. She is motherly. She is nurturing. She is abundant. She is kind of like the archetype of the ideal nurturing mother figure. This could be an inner mothering as well, but the baby formula thing was really poignant. So keep that in mind. Or I'll keep that in mind. We have King of Cups. Interesting. Clarifying the Empress. And it's also interesting because immediately, with the water element is representing fertility. In astrology, for example, like the water elements, let's say that you have, I believe if you have a second house that is in a water element and you have planets there, for example, it represents the way that cash is liquid, that you can make money easily, for example. So there's something here definitely about fertility for a lot of you. We'll see if we need to clarify that. Okay, that's weird. You have the King of Cups in reverse as the third card, and the Page of Pentacles. You do have two pages, and pages represent children. Okay. Let's see. Spirit, what does pile one need to do about their toxic work situation, or what is your advice for them regarding? I feel like I immediately felt the need to ask, what do you need to do? And it's interesting with that drum beat, it kind of made me feel like springing into action. You know how it was kind of like this, like And that's what, I don't know what that is, but that randomly is what came up right before I started recording, and then I spelled the baby formula. Maybe some of you have a really active toddler at home, or ever since motherhood started, you've been really springing into action. Some of you could have Aries in the fifth house of children, which is being a very kind of like active mother. That would make you a Sagittarius rising. But anyways, you don't have to be, but some of you might be, and that could be further confirmation. The Magician is about taking action, and that was for pile one, that was your main card. So I immediately felt like this pile is being advised to take action. So I'm actually going to read this that way because there's just too many confirmations. We'll see what the oracle cards say at the end, but Two of Swords reversed here. I read reverses usually in the Marseille meeting, but I also am an intuitive reader, so if I feel like it's just reversing the Rider-Waite, I'll read it that way. But I'm getting that you're being asked to really focus on what your guides are telling you, actually, with the Page of Cups reverse clarifying that. You're being asked to really tune into, if you have a meditative practice, maybe you wake up really early in the morning, then really tune into what you are hearing. You may have been receiving guidance in the mornings, and if you've been feeling a call to take some kind of action based on morning meditations, then especially because Two of Swords are reversed in the Marseille, it's about focusing. The swords are the mind. Usually the twos talk about impatience, but here in this card specifically, it's saying focus. It's a positive message. It's a positive message of whatever you've been focusing on, and especially because this speaks of specifically guides speaking to you. This may look like whatever that means to you, whatever, if you work with deities, or if you just meditate and you focus on spirit, if you focus on universal energy, it doesn't matter. Whatever messages or guidance you've been receiving or you regularly do, and if you don't have that practice set up, which I doubt that you don't, but in case you don't, then you're definitely being called to go within and start meditating. Let's set that aside because I'm really interested here in the fact that there's a King of Cups in upright and a King of Cups reverse here, because I don't feel like that's a coincidence at all. But also the King of Cups reverse here is telling me that some of you are underestimating your spiritual connection, or like your ability to use your spiritual connection to make decisions. And I think there's something here about looking back on all the times that you've done that and how well that has gone and how well you've done and how you've managed to surpass more difficult situations than even the one you are in now. Because again, like there is the Empress being front and center in the now. It just feels very much like you are very tuned in to this energy. And what's interesting, I want you to look at this Empress card more closely, because in this deck, she particularly, I'm trying not to get the glare too much, she particularly has those stars around her head, and she's being lifted up to the sky. This is very much, again, you likely have a very strong and active crown chakra, and what I mean by that is you do have a connection to spirit that is very stable, potent, developed, I'm getting. So please do trust that. I feel there's this kind of feeling of being a mom. If you're a mom, I don't know. I keep getting mom. Please don't. You could have pets that you consider your children as well. So there's just a really strong motherly energy, regardless of whether you have human children. um, you could also be an aunt, for example, and there could just be some young kin that depends on you. Um, I feel like there's a lot of sometimes like this responsibility to carry of always having to kind of know what to do or make decisions, but at the same time, that has shaped you into somebody that you are. And I do want to clarify this King of Cups because it's just really strange that that came up. So I'm going to take a different deck and really quick. That's so weird. I just saw the King of Cups while shuffling. But Spirit, can you please clarify for me the King of Cups here? Thank you. Sorry if it's a little loud. I'm gonna shuffle. It's gonna be possibly loud, but we'll get through it. What is the King of Cups? Oh, that's unexpected. Can you give me one more, actually? Whoa. Okay, it's interesting that I was talking about carrying a lot of responsibility. I got Three of Swords reversed, which actually is specifically a painful separation. And again, I do read these reverses differently than Rider-Waite reverses, just so you know. I read them as a different system, so just bear with me and take my word for it. Three of Swords reversed for me means painful separation. Ten of Wands reversed. That is, you've been carrying a lot of burdens, and it's kind of it's interesting because it's like that's a past energy, meaning, hey, stop it. No. Hey. Sorry, speaking for children, my cat is up to something he's not supposed to be doing. Anyways. with the Ten of Wands reversed, you have a choice to no longer bear certain burdens. So with the painful separation and the Ten of Wands here, I don't know if you have. I'm not really fond of the King of Cups character. When it's clarified by the Three of Swords reversed and the Ten of Wands reversed, it feels like, especially because the Empress card, associative motherhood being clarified by the King of Cups, it just makes me feel like there's a partner or an ex-partner or an about to be ex-partner. This kind of reminds me of that Reddit subreddit that's like, this person doesn't know their DX, like when they've done something so wrong that it's like how, like, you don't know that you've been broken up with, that kind of thing. It's weird that that's coming up as well, but I feel like that's related to the fact that you're either being told that you can separate from a person who is causing you a lot of burdens, or you do have a person you separated from that's also like causing you burdens. With the Page of Pentacles, ultimately the Page of Pentacles talks about a new opportunity, starting something new. It's also, the pages deliver messages. So there is something about a different option, something new, something that might not be very developed, but it's something that you are more than capable of doing with the King of Cups reversed here. It's talking about when the kings are reversed, it's talking about you needing to nurture and kind of not nurture. You need to own. That's what it is. It's owning your abilities. It's kind of stepping up to the plate in the sense of I know what to do and I'm better than I think I am. I'm more advanced than I think I am. I'm more knowledgeable than I think I am. I'm stronger than I think I am. There's something about acknowledging your power and something that you've done on your own. Some of you could have been both the mom and dad to your children. With the King of Cups clarifying the Empress, you might have been tasked with fulfilling both roles. I'm going to, I hope all of that made sense. I don't know if any of that helped. I just saw 15:15 on my timer. I'm going to look at these oracle cards and read you guidance from there, and hopefully that will give you more messages. Oh, these are pretty. Okay, so you have the horsetail with patience, number 35, and it's Saturn and Venus. Interesting. Okay. And then, wow. Okay, you have mugwort, psychic healing, with the number 10 and the moon and Neptune. Some of you could have a Pisces moon or a moon in the 5th house because Neptune just moved into Aries, which is when I go back to that Aries 5th house. I'm going to read these and not get too distracted because I tend to do that. Where is the book? There it is. Okay, so let's see, number 35. And I'm going to read it to you and then I'll hold it up to the screen in case you want to take a screenshot of it. Horsetail, patience. Equisetum arvens. Okay, so there is a horse here, so that immediately made me think of equine or equestrian, so horses might be important. That's so interesting, my kettle just clicked, which is always a confirmation for me. So horses are important for some reason for you. Okay, so the meaning, endurance, steady focus. We talked about focusing. Period of gestation, interesting. Gestation, like that talks about the what's it called? The reproductive cycle. Trust the process, heightened sensitivity. Astrological rulers, Saturn and Venus. Okay. Whenever you cross paths with a horsetail, right, of course. I'm sorry, that's the herb. Duh. Okay. Real quick, I do know that horsetail is good for strengthening bones and joints, ligaments. Saturn is connected to those things. It's connected to structure, the body, and all the things that make up the self. It's what supports you. It's the foundation. So there's something important here about your foundation, and that might be what's going on. Your foundation might be affecting your work environment. Let's say like your home life is the foundation. The 4th house is the home. It's the bottom of the astrological wheel. It's the bottom is the ground, the foundation, Saturn, roots. I think there's something about your family and home life here that's really affecting how you're able to handle and take action on a toxic work situation. So let's see. Some of you might work from home, side note. Let's get to reading this before I get on 5 different tangents. Whenever you cross paths with a horsetail, you're looking at a member of the sole surviving genus of a once great lineage. Prehistoric horsetail is said to have been giant compared to the remaining species that exist today. This primitive plant is a descendant of large trees from the Paleozoic era, about 375 to 600 million years ago. Interesting. These plants emerged from primordial swamps. Oh, interesting. Swamps. Swamps again, like the deep underground. It's even like kind of the subconscious. It's the murky, muddy water. It's what kind of consumes you. There could, oh, and my stomach just growled. So there could be something about, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I swear to God. Sorry. Your kids might be distracting you as well or something. I don't know. That keeps happening. But the swamps, there could definitely be something about shadow work here. Anyways, these plants emerged from primordial swamps over 100 million years, long before dinosaurs walked on Earth. All cultures to which horsetail was native used it as a food and medicine, often cooking it like a vegetable or chewing it raw in the springtime. Horsetail strengthens connective tissues such as skin, hair, nails, bones, teeth, cartilage, ligaments, and even mucous membranes. In ancient times, it was referred to as a bone mender, as it was used to help heal broken bones, fractures, and osteoporosis. Horsetail is ruled by Saturn as strengthening the skeletal system and connective tissues and promoting wound healing. Hair growth, skin protection, and bone strength are all in the ringed planet domain. Saturn also corresponds with the processing of minerals within the body, particularly the kidneys, which horsetail also nourishes. Archetypally, Saturn provides us protection, shielding, courage, endurance, patience, self-control, and the blessing of challenge. Saturn, known as Cronus in Greek, is the lord of time and viewed as a destructive, all-devouring force. Yet Saturn isn't as malevolent as it is portrayed to be, as its energy teaches us self-mastery, the power we are granted once we overcome the cycles of pain and suffering. Guidance. Horsetail teaches us of the power that lies within patience and the endurance gained through the hidden blessings of challenges. There's something good in all seeming failures, and although that might not be clear in a moment, time will reveal it. Trust the process. Remember that stubbornness and willfulness are counterproductive to loosening knots. Instead, like the medicine of horse, ground to Earth's energy and adapt. Buddy, I swear, can we get through this? Thank you. Ground to Earth's energy and adapt to changes and hardships on the journey. Horse medicine provides us heightened sensitivity and the purity of trust, essential tools to have as we navigate life's journey. Heightened sensitivity and purity of trust. Okay. Invoke the strength of horse as a power animal when you need increased psychic sensitivity and intuition. If some of you do any shamanic practice, then the horse would be a good guide animal, kind of. Let's see. So I'm holding this up for you. Hopefully that works. I'm not sure if it's helpful because I think this looks, well, I'll keep it there. And then let's look at mugwort number 10. Okay. I just got a weird headache. So in case any of you are dealing with headaches, it could have to do with like back pain, joint pain, and it could really help to do some back strengthening exercises or like something for your spine, since we talked about horsetail. But let's do mugwort and then we'll end the reading. So number 10, mugwort. I'll show you the card once again in case. There's an owl on this one. Okay. And mugwort is connected to the moon. So that's the owl, that's Archangel Gabriel. for any of you who work with angels. Let's see, this mugwort is helpful for intuition, so that's interesting that the other card actually talked about summoning the horse spirit or connecting with your intuition, and how we talked about you being really connected and kind of needing to lean into that more, because you do have that strong connection to your guides or your inner guidance. So upright, this is, 10 mugwort, psychic healing, Artemisia vulgaris. So upright, it's dream work, the liminal space, in transition, other realities, clairvoyance, foresight. With in transition and the liminal space, you might be transitioning to a different job. You might be transitioning to a different position. You might be asked to take action on that, but maybe there's things to tend to at home or in your foundation that are making it hard to take action. So maybe there needs to be some tending there first, and that guidance on how to do that is available to you. The astrological ruler is the moon and Neptune. All Artemisia family plants are sacred to Artemis, the moon goddess, and mugwort is closely linked to the fairy realms. Historically, it has been used to protect against evil spirits, parasitic entities, dark energy, and hexes, among a variety of cultures. Parasitic really stood out to me when I was thinking of the negative traits of the King of Cups. So this might, some of you might have an ex-partner or somebody that you are feeling you might need to separate from, or having trouble separating from, or are separated but not divorced. It's a lot of different versions of what this could be, but this person, since they were represented with those difficult cards, there has been a lot of burdens that this person has put on you. And with parasitic, I really do think a lot of you have dealt with somebody who has not added to your life or to your peace, but actually taken away from it, and made your difficult situation that much harder because you've had to tend to a person that was supposed to assist you, and instead you were assisting them, or they were taking your energy, so that was clearly not assisting you. I'm actually being guided to skip to the guidance. Some of you might be busy moms, I don't know, let's get to it. I'm not going to read the rest of the history, I'm going to get to the guidance now. Artemis, the moon goddess, and her wise white owl meet you as you enter the liminal space between one life phase and the next. Your channel is wide open. That crown chakra. She is instructing you on how to draw upon your psychic powers to pass through this test within the realms of shadow. We did talk about shadow work with this one. You are not lost. Oftentimes the greatest clarity dawns after the darkest hours. Owl medicine asks you to use the powers of keen psychic sight to observe and intuit aspects of your life that may still lay in darkness. Okay, so you definitely are being called into shadow work. Confront that which is unworthy of your devotion. Wow. Okay, pile 1, confront that which is unworthy of your devotion. Confront that which is taking your energy and doesn't deserve it. Okay? Eradicate destructive forces. Pay attention to the signs and omens that appear as you navigate the labyrinths of the subterranean forest. Okay. This is the first page if you want to take a picture, screenshot. If you want to read it, because I didn't finish reading it since I went straight to the guidance, which is here. This is very clear to me. There might be some very difficult action or decisions that will be coming up. In transition, often, you know, there are changes that you're going through, or you're seeing what changes you need to make, or you're seeing what no longer works. Anyways, the swamp, the shadow work, I mean, this is exactly what we talked about. Pay attention, I feel like I have to read this again, this part. Confront that which is unworthy of your devotion. Eradicate destructive forces. Pay attention to the signs and omens that appear as you navigate the labyrinths of the subterranean forest. The labyrinth also talks about that subconscious, that confusing space of symbols, of omens and signs that are there for you to look at and confront. I'm also seeing the number that is associated with my guides. So again, do ask your guides to help you with navigating this shadow work with the subconscious. I saw 2929 when I said that. So that feels very much like something that your guides are offering. They're offering to assist you through this. And I think that that's a really good idea to ask that, because shadow work can be very difficult and you want guidance on pacing, because we ourselves are not always the Hi, Pal2. So this is your reading if you chose the Page of Wands. I have a pre-shuffled oracle card for you that we'll look at the end for advice and confirmation, and I have also pre-shuffled cards here for you if we need to get any clarifiers. I'll shuffle on camera, so let's get to it. What is your advice, Spirit, for Pile 2 regarding their toxic work environment or situation? This is particularly about management, bosses, that kind of thing, but it might be general for you as well. So for your first two cards, you have the Page of Cups reversed, clarified by the Knight of Wands. And I'm reading the reverses in a different system than Rider-Waite, so just bear with me. I might explain, I might not. We'll see how it flows. We also have the Four of Cups reversed, clarified by the Ten of Wands reversed. Interesting. Okay. And then you have the Five of Cups upright, and the Three of Cups are reversed. So immediately for me, I do have to note that there are only two upright cards in your spread. So that's only 1/3 of your whole spread is upright. And they're really poignant cards for me, because one of them is about taking swift, courageous action, and the other one, and okay, interesting. I'm just going to point this out. I like your oracle card. I don't know what it is, but it flipped over by accident, or I flipped it over and then I was like, whoops, shouldn't look at that. Flipped it back. It looked like a fire element. I don't know if it was, but I did see something that made me think of the fire element. And you do have the Page of Wands as your main card, and you have the Knight of Wands upright. And so that's also interesting, because you have two of these court cards of the Wands element. So there's definitely some kind of fiery energy, something about action, or something maybe happening quick. All right, let's read this spread. So, okay, well, actually that's really interesting. I think Pile 1 had Page of Cups reversed in the exact same position. None of the other cards. They did, however, when I shuffled, and to clarify the second column, they also got the Ten of Wands reversed with one other card. So I'll just say that in case you were drawn to Pile 1 or you're here from Pile 1. But a lot of you are definitely being asked to take action on some kind of guidance. I'll just set that aside, because that just feels like a really quick message. And it feels like there's more of a focus here. A lot of you have been focusing on a spiritual practice. This could look like morning prayer, meditation, maybe even like yoga, something that helps you connect with your inner self, but something definitely connects you to spirituality, and you've been keeping up with that. But with the Ten of Wands reverse clarifying that, I actually feel like maybe some of you either you've been doing this, take it based on your situation, you'll know if you've been doing a lot of that. Some of you might need to take a load off, might need to take a break because there's something that you've been carrying that's been heavy, and it's a choice now to not work so hard. Or if you feel like this has been helping you to unburden yourself, this practice that you've been keeping up with, or that you are currently keeping up with, then definitely keep that up. I don't know why, but this feels like it's going to be quicker reading. The fire element is also so poignant here, and it is a quick element. But with the Five of Cups being clarified by the Three of Cups reversed, I'm going to get a clarifier here because, again, the energy of this reading feels really focused here on this one column, and I don't know why. Like, almost like these were quick tips and advice, but there's something here. So this might be loud. You might need to turn the volume down if you're sensitive to sound, but Spirit, can you please just clarify the last column here? Whoa. One more. Thank you. Okay. So you got the Five of Pentacles reversed. And this is a really intense card for me. I mean, I'll show you upright. He's walking on a bunch of skulls. I really don't like this card. It always makes me feel kind of uneasy. And you have the Three of Pentacles, which of course represents work. I'll show you the card a little more closely because this person, sorry, I'm a little over the place, but this person, okay, this is interesting. You see how they're watering this plant, and they have these other plants behind them that have grown because obviously they've been taking care of them. I feel like this is a very clear message. Your spiritual practice, tending to your inner world and connecting with your guides, has actually helped to grow or nurture something in the past, and is the reason for past success. And these skulls, I never noticed. I've had these cards for years. I've never noticed that detail of the skulls being where these are growing from. And you have these skulls in the Five of Pentacles that he's walking on. So for a lot of you, especially with the Five of Cups being the card where in the Rider-Waite, the person is looking at the cups that are spilled over, but there's still 2 cups left. For a lot of you, there's been a lot of difficulty and loss. It could be financial, it could be material. And with the this is a really positive card. I just want to, before I even move on to delving into that more, I really want to highlight this card because in the Marseille Tarot, which I read reverses as that system, just for more detail and nuance, and sometimes I read them as Rider-Waite intuitively because I read intuitively, but in the Marseille Tarot, the Three of Cups is a really positive card. 3 is of Saturn, and it talks about Saturn moves slowly and develops a strong foundation. And the cups are they spill over onto everything. So every aspect of your life is going to gradually be improving. That is a really strong message that I want to get through here because, again, immediately before I even looked at that, all of the focus was mainly here. These were like little tips and advice, but there's something really important here about the fact that things are going to get better. Especially because you've clearly had a lot of loss. Like the energy feels really intense with the Five of Pentacles reverse clarifying. It might be a lot of work loss or losses of jobs or just really difficult work situations that made you feel empty, disillusioned, and at a loss, honestly. I want to come back real quick to the Page of Wands being the main card representing your pile, because the Page of Wands does talk about returning to the inner child and the things that light you up and bring you joy. And I do think that although when you're in this kind of energy and situation, and believe me, I've been there, so I know this is when it's kind of the hardest to connect with that inner child, that inner joy, that inner sense of play, and it's also when it's most important. And also when you feel like, I don't have time for that, I have things to do, I have maybe money problems, I might not have money for rent, I don't know how I'm gonna get through the next month. And that's, again, I know, I've been there, and I get that. And it's still important, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes of your day, to try to reconnect with that inner child. And I really feel resistance when I say that. So, don't take that as something you have to do, but take it as something that it's like a gentle kind of nudge of, hey, it might not feel like anything to prioritize right now, and it might feel illogical, but it's exactly what the cup suit talks about, how when you spill a cup of water, it spills all over everything. That's going to indirectly affect other areas of your life, including your work situation, including material matters. Because when you're connecting with that inner child, with that inner sense of play, you're working on your mental health, you're working on your physical health. Obviously, because stress is going to cause health problems, whereas a sense of calm, peace, that you cultivate is going to do the opposite. It's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit every aspect of your life, no matter what. But don't force yourself into anything. Just make it. I would really, if you do want advice right now, and since you're here, I think you do. I would really try to make it even just like a small part of your day. But I'm not gonna harp on that. Let's see what your guidance is I'll read from the guidebook specifically. So, okay, so I saw this, like, I guess the sun, oh, Mars. Okay, that's why there's this fiery element. I saw this and I thought fire. You have Mars and Pluto with number 21, Nettle, action. Okay, so some of you definitely are connected to pile 1. That's all I'll say, if you did feel drawn there. Number 21. Some of you definitely need like rest and just like tending to yourself, because I was very clumsy before I started recording your reading. Was not like that at all before I started recording pile 1, and it just, it feels like there's some tender self-care that is needed here for you, pile 1. That's what I'll say. So, herbs of Mars, number 21, nettle. Action. Urtica dioica. So, urtica. So, this does have to do with like the urinary aspect of the body. So, definitely, before I started recording this, I was like, somebody needs to drink water. You need to drink water. You need to hydrate. I'm just gonna say that. You have a lot of quick tips in your reading. That was not coming up in Pile 1 at all. All right, let me read. I'm going to actually read you the guidance first, and then I'll read the background in case you're in a hurry, in case you feel like you want answers first. But the background has answers too, so we'll see. The guidance is: the warrior Mars is a representation of our will to survive, protect, pursue, and act. Physically, the elemental fire within nettle activates to purify and strengthen. Emotionally and mentally, it directs ambition, sharpens intellect, and ignites leadership. On a spiritual level, nettle has the power of snake medicine, granting us the power of fire to transmute and protect. Nettle medicine teaches you on a personal level to be strong, protective, and able to handle life in its complexity. You meet difficulties with patience and confidence. Real quick, Pile 1 had 2 oracle cards, and one of them was patience. So there's a lot of connections here. Pile 1 again. This allows for emotional maturity and avoids frustration. So you meet difficulties with patience and confidence. This allows for emotional maturity and avoids frustration. Don't withdraw your energy in the face of discomfort. If you have drawn this card today, there's a need within you to transmute some action, thought, or desire. Release the outer skin of your present identity and draw upon the powers of fire to lead and act. I feel like this talks about being a leader to yourself, actually. Tending to yourself, being that kind of nurturing energy that you need within yourself. Drawing upon the inner parent, inner mothering, nurturing energies. And also there's something here about the solar plexus with this talking about meeting difficulties with patience and confidence. The lower chakras are really highlighted, root and solar plexus for you. And fire, the solar plexus is fire, is Mars. And there's connections here, obviously, to Saturn as well. All right, I'm just going to read to you the description real quick, and then I'll hold this up in case you want to screenshot it. Nettle perfectly embodies Mars's attributes. When touched, its aggressive leaves cause irritation, stimulation, and increased blood circulation. Nettle is rich in iron, selenium, magnesium, chlorophyll, calcium, silica, and vitamins A, C, E, and K. While nettle is not necessarily a heating plant, it is stimulating. Its sting feels hot at the touch, and yet it helps to modulate inflammation throughout the body. Used to treat pain from arthritis in ancient Egypt, people would whack themselves with bundles of nettles to treat rheumatism, lethargy, and cholera. It's thought that nettles cause the body to release an antihistamine response that reduces inflammation and swelling, alleviating pain related to rheumatism and arthritis. The famous ancient Greek physician Hippocrates used nettles in over 60 different remedies. Throughout the Middle Ages, nettles were used to treat shingles, sinus ailments, and constipation. Shingles is really painful. That's an interesting point. I didn't know that nettle was used for that. In Norse mythology, nettles are associated with Thor, the god of thunder, and with Loki, the trickster god, whose magical fishing net was made from nettles. Thick stands of nettles. I don't know if this was a typo in the book, but thick bands or strands of nettles signal that there are fairy dwellings close by in Celtic folklore, and a nettle sting wards off fairy mischief, black magic, and sorcery. The Anglo-Saxon held 9 herbs as the most sacred, and their 9 herbs charm, recorded in the 10th century, featured nettles as a protective ally against elfshot, a mysterious pain in humans or animals caused by the arrows of the jealous elves. Nettles also protected against flying venom, a form of black magic believed at the time to be one of the primary causes of illness. Yeah, there's just a lot of talk here of self-care. I did say that I would hold that up, so let me do that really quick for you. Number 21. I don't know if my camera recording is making this reversed or backwards. If it is, I'll just edit this later and add the image in so that you can read it if you want to, or screenshot it in case you want to. I'm gonna leave that there. Actually, I don't have anything else to say. I hope that was helpful for you, Pal 2, and I'll see you in another reading. Bye. Hi, Pal 3. This is your reading if you chose the Temperance card reversed. We have Astrological Herbalism Oracle for you that we'll look at the end, just for further guidance and confirmation. And I pre-shuffled your spread, and if we need to get any more confirmations, then we'll shuffle on screen. So let's get to it. What is your advice, Spirit, for Pal 3 regarding their toxic work environment, possibly a toxic boss, management, leadership? Thank you. So let's see. 6 of Wands, clarified by King of Wands. Interesting combination. 4 of Wands reversed, and disclaimer, I read reverses as the Marseille system for further kind of detail. You have the Hierophant clarifying the 4 of Wands reverse, and I'll explain what that means in a second. You have the 5 of Pentacles reversed, and the 9 of Wands. Whoa. Okay. Weird. I say weird just because Pal 2 felt connected to Pal 1, and your Pal is immediately giving me Pal 2 energy. But I'm actually going to, I didn't do this before, but for you, I want to clarify this immediately. So, Spirit, can you clarify for me 5 of Pentacles reverse and the 9 of Wands? Thank you. This might be a little loud, so if you need to turn the volume down, you should do that now. We have Justice, and I'm gonna get one more. Clarifying 5 of Pentacles reversed and 9 of Wands. Oof. Okay, Queen of Swords reversed. Alright, let's see. So, we have 6 of Wands and the King of Wands. In this particular deck, it's interesting because the 6 of Wands here is sort of reminiscent, not sort of, very reminiscent of the 6 of Swords in Rider-Waite, where they're in a boat and they have the swords in the boat and they're traveling to a foreign land hoping to find shelter or find better days, find a better place to set up their life. And it feels like you've been working on something with that. It feels like you've been taking action towards having a better, more suitable career, having a better, more suitable... Okay, yeah. Immediately, I have to go to, your reading's different. Temperance reverse in the Marseille system, it talks about the what is called like the angelic elixir. It's about mixing certain energies into a potion that is specific to you. There's some kind of job, there's some kind of career, there's a vocation, there's a path, there's a calling that is really specific to you. And it's something that is made for you and just for you. Only you can do it. It's either the position can only be filled by you, or this is really particularly for you. It's very specific. It's only you. I don't know how, I really want to get that across. And like, that's why I'm reiterating it. So some of you might have been trying to find your purpose or calling. You might have been trying to find something that speaks to you, that is more aligned with you. With Four of Wands reversed, the Wand suit in the Marseille Tarot, it specifically talks about not even like what you do to make money or to survive, but what you are here in this world to do. You might not even make money from this. I just saw 444 when I said that. This is something, you might not make money from it, but it might bring abundance to the rest of your life. For others of you, it definitely is something that will bring abundance, even materially, directly. But for a lot of you, it might be indirect, as in it affects you positively, and therefore brings in abundance because it affects every part of your life in a positive way. But what's interesting is the 4 is the 4th sphere on the tree of life. It's Jupiter, which is 444. And also the Hierophant is, it is basically, is in a way Jupiter, because Jupiter is the teacher, is the guru, and the Hierophant is the spiritual leader, the teacher. So some of you definitely could be in a position to teach and lead others. Or some of you are thinking about doing this, and if you are, then this is definitely something that is aligned with you. But there's something very interesting here about the 5 of Pentacles reversed and the 9 of Wands. It feels like no matter how many hits you've taken, no matter how negatively you might want to think about the things that you've gone through, you have found some kind of balance within yourself. I just feel and that's really interesting, because before I started recording, I suddenly kind of sank into this relaxed energy, and that was very different from pile 2. I don't know if you are drawn to pile 2, it might talk about the past for you, because you're not in that energy. If you were, I could definitely see you being in that energy like years ago or some time ago, but you're not there anymore. It's almost like you have reached some kind of equilibrium. And even when there's difficulties and challenges that you are facing or have faced, you are able to overcome them. It's like it doesn't scare you the way that it used to. It doesn't maybe even affect your nervous system the way it did in the past. And you are Mark, I wouldn't underestimate this. You've been through a lot of battles and you are strong. It's the fact that you're not as fazed by it anymore, and you're not as plagued by negative thoughts anymore. That speaks to your strength and courage. I'm hearing courage. I felt compelled to say courage. I wanted to look at your oracle card, so let's get to that. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Immediately, there is a symbol here in this card that for me personally actually means moving towards guiding others, or moving towards some kind of leadership position, some kind of spiritual mentorship, whatever it means for you to share your wisdom and guidance with others, or to do some kind of spiritual work, to answer some kind of spiritual calling or some kind of soul calling, whatever you feel, maybe even it could be like something you see as a life purpose. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you do for work, but it is something that you want to do or are being called to do. This is very much a confirmation that if you're being called or if you feel called to, or you have this kind of spiritual leadership knowledge, which I feel like a lot of you do, with the Hierophant and the Four of Wands reversed here in the middle. I just realized I didn't even fully explain this card. And it's interesting that I was brought back to that because this confirms that. So let me backtrack for a second. The Wands talk about your calling, what you are meant to do in this world. It's very spiritual in nature. It's that inner fire. It's that soul calling. And Jupiter talks about expansion. You're being asked to kind of get organized in regards to some kind of project or calling. And wow, this is so weird. I didn't do this for any of the other piles, but I'm going to bear with me for a second. I will be right back. You need to organize something that you're working on or that you feel called to do. You need to organize your space. You need to get the details together. It's like there's something here. I just heard you're ready. You're ready for it. You are being asked to go for it. This is so interesting. I'm going to look at number 48. I'm a little all over the place in your reading. I'm a little scattered and I'm very relaxed. And in pile 2, I was clumsy before I started reading, and then I wasn't at all during the reading. And then in pile 1, before I started reading, the energies were so different. In your energy, in your pile, I'm just so scattered. So there's something here about getting organized was really important. So number 48, Kava Kava community. Okay, so you might be asked to lead a community. I just saw number 47, which for me is connected to a job or vocation that you are meant to do. So again, it was 1147 specifically, and 11 is connected to Uranus. Is it? Yeah, it is, but why? I don't know. That's so weird. I'm blanking out in your reading too. Again, I'm getting this. Okay, I'm just getting really scattered energy here. So whatever it is that's kind of, I don't know, making you scattered, maybe it's something in your mind that you need to organize. Maybe it's just taking a step back, a few breathers. You know how to do that. I don't believe I need to give you any advice on that, but I do feel I need to say it. So 48, Kava Kava community. Piper Mephisticum. This upright meaning is celebration, kinship with tribe, community, friendship, union, finding your chosen family. Oh, this is so poignant. Okay. Astrological rulers, Pluto and the moon. Okay. So Kava in Tongan means bitter, and in Hawaiian it's called awa. Legend has it that kava was brought over to the islands by the gods Kane and Kanaloa from their ancestral Polynesia. Kava was known as the drink of the gods and honored across the Pacific Islands. Kava is believed to first have originated in northern Vanuatu thousands of years ago. Considering the plant lacks seeds or a means to self-propagate, it is believed that it was tended to by the gods until the first indigenous people arrived. Kava tea was regarded as a blessing and poured onto shrines, then later it was drunk by the kahuna, or a spiritual leader of the ceremony. It was considered holy and only given to those of high rank, but eventually it became more widely accessible, and to this day it is drunk in ceremony to bring the community together. sometimes called the intoxicating pepper, the effects of kava are a curious combination of deep relaxation alongside stimulation to the central nervous system. Oh, I'm going to pause real quick. That's so interesting because, again, I felt super relaxed before I got into your reading. And in your reading, I also felt like a little overstimulated. So it felt kind of like I was drinking. I don't know why. Okay, that's also interesting. Right before your reading, I felt like somebody might need to hear this, that if you're just having coffee in the morning and not having any breakfast or not drinking water, you might just need something to help ground yourself a little more. But yeah, let me finish reading this for you. Sometimes called the intoxicating pepper, the effects of kava are a curious combination of deep relaxation alongside stimulation to the central nervous system. Kava is relaxing to muscles and dampens pain, while increasing the flow of thoughts. Kava can greatly increase mental clarity, which I think you might need. So, and some of you may want to look into this particular herb specifically. You're the only pile that I'm like actually feeling encouraged to say, hey, the herb itself might be something you need in your life. Also, in my language, in my language, kava means coffee. So it's interesting that I mentioned coffee, and I just saw 555 on the screen also. So there is something about caffeine or how you go about it that's going to help you deal with some kind of issue you're having. Because 555 leads to 6, which is a great challenge that leads to a resolution. Kava can greatly increase mental clarity, ease depression, confusion, and sorrow, and sharpen intuition. Kava directly affects the limbic system and the control center of our emotions, just as the moon does. Plutonian herbs like kava cause deep transformation in our emotional mind. The energy of Pluto is that of regeneration, allowing us to decompress from accumulated emotions through the volcanic power of catharsis. Guidance. Kava's energy moves through our nervous system like a butterfly, relaxing, widening, and assisting us in surrendering. Although you might be amid an important moment in your life, remember that you don't have to do it alone. When you widen your circles intentionally, you receive support from the universe and others to join you on the path. To fully draw upon butterfly's medicine, it gently invites us to observe our position in the community in this moment. Are you a protector, creator, connector, or visionary? And how does that correlate this moment in your life alongside your personal evolution, egg, caterpillar, cocoon, or butterfly? Oftentimes, finding your purpose within your community and the parallels within your inner journey can provide great relief and meaning. I feel a lot of you are in your cocoon and you're ready to come out. And I also feel that this was really connected to what we talked about. I'm going to hold this up real quick so you can look at it if you want to again. If you want to screenshot it, read it. Oh, I showed you. Okay, that's really weird. I showed you also a page from a different one, and I'm going to read that guidance because the first sentence actually feels really, it just feels intuitively like this is your guidance too. So I'm going to read this as well. It's for, let's see, for Skullcap, and it's stillness. Interesting. Pluto, it's also Pluto and Saturn. So the guidance is really short. It's the storm has passed. You've just weathered or are weathering a storm, which, you know, the 9 of Wands, he's definitely been through some battles. And this is what I told you, grounding. It says, ground deeply into the present moment. If you feel fear, find consolation in stillness as it readapts. The medicine of Scorpion embodies the stillness of darkness, and it assists by accepting sudden change with ease and calm. If you're feeling exhausted, drained, or depleted, which if you're drinking a lot of coffee might be the case, this is the time to pause and withdraw to your cave. You're in the process of rebuilding after the storm. Don't rush. Take time to reflect. Take the time to birth a new structure that supports a new version of yourself. That is so synchronistic. Okay? Take the time to birth a new structure. This is exactly what this card talks about. Getting that system, organizing something, building a structure, a system for you to work on whatever this means to you, whatever leadership in some kind of spiritual sense, whatever position in a community, whatever is very specific to you and your life and to your soul, whatever speaks to you on that soul level, whatever brings you balance and harmony, whatever you've been kind of working towards, even if you didn't really know what it was specifically when you started. Whatever it was that you were manifesting all along, whatever it is that you've been moving toward, that you feel it brings a brighter day. I saw 47 again. It's time to organize the structures and also to organize some kind of support in your daily life that's going to make it more possible to do that. Okay? So that's your reading, pile 3. Take care.